Hi, beautiful mama. Do you long for the days when you could get a solid night's sleep? Sleep is so important for both children and parents. But you might be saying, but my baby won't sleep. Today, I talk with Dr. Sarah Mitchell all about sleep and how to create healthy sleep habits for a happy baby and mama. Get ready to learn not only how to help your baby sleep, but also how you as a mom can get better sleep as well. Let's jump in. Hi, Dr. Sarah. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, I'm super excited to be here. I totally appreciate all of the efforts that you do to help moms. So I'm really glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. And I would love to start by learning a bit about your journey. Would you care to share your journey with us regarding sleep as a mom and then how you came to help moms and babies with sleep?
Yeah, sure. So I think I'm still on my journey, quite frankly. Right? It continues. My kids are older now, though. They're 7 and 9. And my background is that I'm a chiropractor by training, and I have a bachelor of kinesiology. And so when it was time to become a parent, I felt really confident that I would be able to tackle this and handle this no problem at all. And so you can, I'm sure, imagine my shock when my birth went sideways, let's call it, really, really tough and traumatic and a very long healing process. And then I had this little guy who just wouldn't sleep more than 2-hour stretches. And I felt so tired and exhausted. And I turned to my friends and my doctor and I was like, how do you get this kid to sleep? Like, I must be missing one little thing. There must be one quick tip out there. And, a lot of the replies that I received were kind of dismissive. Oh, just enjoy your baby and this too shall pass and you can't never let them cry. And I remember thinking like, oh gosh, I don't think I can really enjoy my baby that much more because I'm so tired. I'm starting to feel kind of resentful. And so that kind of kicked off my journey into figuring out sleep, researching sleep, and putting a plan in place to teach our little one to sleep, which was a real big mental adjustment for me because I'd come from like an attachment parenting background. And so it was a big shift mentally. But it was definitely one of the best things that I ever did for our family because we all got more sleep. We were much happier and well rested. And then my daughter came along and I was determined not to go down that same shady sleep road that we'd been down before. So I started teaching her sleep habits really from like week 2, just no tier, simple things to help her along. And that whole experience, those two together were kind of life-changing because I was so passionate about sleep and wanted other parents to know like what was available to them that they might not know. And so I've been teaching parents to teach their little ones to sleep now since 2013. And I'm definitely found what I was meant to do. And there's definitely something a little bit Freudian in here because I still kind of feel like every time I'm helping a parent who's, waking up 6 times in the night, I'm kind of helping my postpartum anxiety-ridden self get out of that stage. But I really do enjoy this, enjoy empowering parents to feel like they're rocking this parenting thing because it's not really even just about the sleep. It's like the first real parenting obstacle that's actually a learned behavior, right? Because the drive to sleep is biological, but the way we sleep is actually a learned habit. And so it's kind of fun to kind of shift the perspective on sleep for parents because we think it should be this, sleep should be this natural, instinctual thing, but it's really not. So that's the big secret for anybody who wants to know.
Yeah, that's incredible. I remember with our first daughter, we, before we had any other kids and we didn't have events and things to go to, we did our best to plan everything around her sleep schedule. And we tried to do that as our family grew as well. But, it becomes more difficult because we could easily see that it benefited her so much to get that sleep. But on occasion, when we would go somewhere and she'd end up missing a nap or not getting a proper nap, I remember people would say things like, "Oh, she missed her nap. She's going to sleep so good tonight." But I knew that wasn't how it worked for us anyway. And it was usually harder, to get any of our kids to sleep when they were overtired. But it took experiencing that and to figure it out, because it was definitely not intuitive to me at first. I had to come to terms with the idea that keeping our baby up longer in between naps wouldn't actually help her sleep better. So, can we talk a bit more about that? The idea that sleep isn't necessarily natural, but a learned habit?
Yeah, sure. So the drive to sleep is biological. So we all have a buildup of a protein in our blood that signals our brain that it's time to sleep. And it's actually really cool because it's adenosine is the protein, and it's a byproduct of ATP. And ATP is what your body uses for fuel. It breaks it down for fuel, and then adenosine is the byproduct that builds up and signals your brain it's time to sleep, which is cool if you think about like newborns and how much they need to nap. It's related to how much they're growing and how much fuel they're burning through to fuel their growth, right? And as kids get older, their rate of growth decreases, and the amount of naps that they need also decreases. So that's the science kind of part, or the biological drive to sleep. And then if you think about it as being a learned habit, like that's kind of mind blowing. Like I definitely didn't think that when I was going through it. And I think we're kind of given some funny messages in society because you see all these beautiful newborn photos of these little kids sleeping through the newborn photo sessions and kids sleeping like a baby, all these beautiful, natural pictures of sleeping babies, right? That really only happens the first couple of weeks. And after that, they wake up to the world a little bit more. And then people don't realize that they actually need to decide when it's time for their little kiddos to sleep. It doesn't just always happen naturally. And if you think about yourself, sleep being a learned behavior, like if I said to you tonight, okay, I'm going to take away your pillows and your blankets and you can't sleep in your favorite position tonight, you would experience discomfort as you figure out a new way to relax yourself into sleep. And that's kind of what's happening with our kiddos. Like if you for those of you who have kids already, if you think back like how you needed to rock them or nurse them to fall asleep, that was the learned behavior. And then when you decided to stop all those things, that's when you were kind of teaching a new behavior. So I much prefer the term sleep teaching rather than sleep training, because it really is, you're teaching a new behavior. And I think sleep training sounds so cruel and in comparison to like our pets, we don't train kids, we teach them.
Yes, yeah, the word training has got a negative connotation to it for sure. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was fascinating. So one of the things that I'm really grateful for, even though like figuring out sleep with our kids was definitely challenging at times, but it invited me to be more present with them. And I started to learn to read like their cues, which I didn't do perfectly, but they did each have a way to show me when they were ready to rest. Once I kind of figured that out. But do you have any tips to help moms tune into that?
So I find, temperament in children is one of the things that can dictate how easy they are to get them to sleep and whatnot. And some kids, I find like the sleepy signs actually really hard to read. So I like to use the clock, and we call these awake time. It's the time by age in which your child can comfortably stay awake for before it becomes harder to get them to fall asleep and stay asleep. So like, for example, a toddler, let's say a 2-year-old, they can usually stay awake roughly 6.5 hours before nap time. And then after nap, usually it's 4 to 5 hours to be back asleep. And what happens with toddlers, it's all counterintuitive. As they get more and more tired, they actually get more wired and crazy and running around the house. And that can be really hard to know if you're a first-time parent that that's actually an overtired sign. Right? So I really like the awake times to help guide you, and then the signs as your like secondary measure to know like, oh, well, she did have that extra big nap today. Maybe we can let her stay up a little bit longer because her time has elapsed, but she doesn't really seem very tired. Or gosh, that nap today was extra short because I don't know, we were in the car or she pooped herself awake. So maybe we'll shave 15 minutes off of that awake time for today to help her recoup some of that lost sleep time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. And it's easier to start with timing because you can look at the clock and just know what to aim for.
Yeah. And it helps as a mom to give you more predictability to your day, especially when you're in those younger months and you have so many naps.
Yes.
So I have a chart that we can link to afterwards if people have young children where, like, for example, a 9-month-old can really only comfortably stay awake about 3 hours. And one of the most common parenting challenges or errors, I guess. I hate calling them errors because we're all just doing the best we can. But one place a lot of people get kind of steered off track is with bedtime. They read a lot of stuff on the internet that's like, your child should be sleeping 7 to 7. Or quite frankly, like a 7 to 7, a 12-hour overnight schedule for any kiddo less than, a year and a half, it's really hard. 11 hours is much more common. 12 hours are really hard to get. But bedtimes that are based on like when dad gets home or when we all eat as a family, they're often too late for kiddos. Most kids wake up somewhere between 6 and 6:30 based on their circadian rhythm, the sun. And if you think most of them up to like the school age years need about 11 hours of sleep, that puts your bedtime somewhere between like 7:30, 7:30. And so bedtime, staying awake too long before bed, one of the risks is that you actually have more night waking. You also have like 5 a.m. wake ups because all humans wake in the night, right? But when we're really tired or overtired, we're so upset that we're awake and we want more help. And so we call for our mom or our dad more easily than if we were well rested.
Let's pause for a moment, Mama. Are you ready to bring more calm into your days so you can enjoy motherhood and start being the mom you've always dreamed of being? Then the simple self-care course can help you. This simple 7-day course will help you bring more moments of self-care to your days so you can start feeling calm and happy as a mom. In this mini course, you will receive a beautiful printable journal as well as 7 short and sweet guided meditations. It's time to bring more self-care into your days, Mama. Follow the link in the show notes to get your course today. Sleep is so important for babies and children, but it's also really important for moms and not only getting enough sleep, but getting like really good quality sleep, right? So do you have any tips to help moms get more sleep?
I sure do. So, I think it's undeniable that sleep is important on our mental health, right? I don't know about you, but I've definitely had those bad nights, and I've noticed how tired I feel and how irritable I am and how my anxiety may seem worse. We know there's studies that show that lack of sleep is correlated with a higher risk of postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. And I'm actually participating in a research study right now with San Jose State University that's looking at maternal anxiety pre and post sleep teaching. So does teaching your baby to sleep help with your anxiety? So it'll be interesting to see what the research shows. We have our hypothesis that yes, it will help because you'll be more well rested, which can help with your anxiety. But, it's kind of cool, too, when you really dive down to it. Like, the things that can help moms sleep are not that different from some of the things that can help our kiddos sleep. So one thing that can really help is having a regular schedule, right? Your body, if you go to bed every night around 9:30 p.m., and your body gets used to knowing that that's when it happens, you will fall asleep more quickly. Right? Same thing that if you wake up around the same time of day every day, it just helps your circadian and your homeostatic systems regulate with ease so they can be more efficient. So a regular sleep schedule can really help. The second thing is, you want to make your bedroom like a sanctuary. You want to look forward to spending time in there, and you really want it to be your nest. And so I encourage parents to spend some money on themselves, to buy really lovely, comfortable linens and duvets, things that are natural fiber, 100% cotton, because they're more breathable. Like when you get into synthetics, they can tend to trap heat and make you sweat. But something that you really like, that you look forward to climbing into bed to, can make a difference. And on that same note with environment, right, you want your room to be dark and cool. There's definitely studies that show that can help with your sleep, how long it takes you to fall asleep, and your sleep quality overnight. On that note, moving into quality, so especially as I get older, I have really noticed that red wine can really impede my sleep. And the National Sleep Foundation, they really suggest to try avoiding food in general 2 to 3 hours before you sleep. And that's because when you sleep, most of your systems start to slow down. Your respiration, your digestion, your heart rate, but your immune system actually kicks up, which is another reason sleep's so important, right? To help fight off foreign invaders. But food before bed, including alcohol, caffeine, we'll get into those in just a sec, but food in general, like your digestive system's trying to slow down and then you're putting food into it, which can often lead to just in general trouble digesting or just your body trying to stay awake. The systems are fighting each other, right? It's like I'm supposed to be slowing down, but here comes all this food. I'm not really sure what to do here. And then alcohol, actually, red wine in particular, has histamine in it. The thing with histamine is it's associated with the vigilance and wakefulness cycles. So red wine tends to wreak havoc on your sleep cycles in the last part of the night. I definitely notice that I wake up more frequently and I don't feel rested when I wake for the day. And that's the same thing, similar is caffeine, right? So caffeine actually blocks that buildup of adenosine that we were talking about, that drive to sleep. And people's metabolisms are different, so we don't know exactly how long caffeine can stay in your system, but it can be somewhere between 6 to 8 hours. So if I have a coffee at 2 o'clock, 6 to 8 hours would be 8 to 10. I might have trouble falling asleep at that time because I've got a blocked sleep pressure happening. So food, caffeine, alcohol, those things kind of all interrupt the quality of your nighttime sleep. I mean, and that doesn't even include the factors of kids, right? Who's in your bed, who's calling out for you in the night. Those things can all make an impact. But basically having a regular schedule, creating a nest that you really enjoy being in for your bedroom, and then avoiding food and alcohol 2 to 3 hours for bed is three simple things that you can start to do right now to focus on the quality of your sleep.
Oh, those are great. So one other thing that I've heard of is like using like blue blocking glasses or like avoiding screens a little bit before bed because of the blue light. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely research that shows that they can stimulate part of your brain. So it is wise. I even think TV shows before bed can just kind of wind you up depending on the type of show. And so I love fiction. Good old fashioned book, probably not a Kindle, like an actual book can really help take your mind somewhere else. And a lot of the reason people struggle with sleep latency, like the onset of sleep, how long it takes them to fall asleep, is their ability to shut off their mind. So that's when all those other important practices like meditation can really help with your sleep as well. And fiction is just one way of like being in your sleep space and taking your mind somewhere else. I also like listening to, different apps like the Calm app, or even just stories on YouTube can help take your brain away from those things that are stressing you out, essentially.
Oh, those are great. Yeah. So like sleep is such an important way to take care of yourself and practice self-care. And I'd love to know just personally, like what are some other ways that you like to practice self-care?
Oh gosh, exercise. Oh my gosh. So, when I was little and really struggling, or when I was little, sorry, when my kids were little and we were struggling with fatigue, I remember a parent coach saying to me, you really should get up before the kids and get things ready. And I remember thinking, I just can't. I'm just so tired. In hindsight, I actually had a undiagnosed autoimmune disease that was happening. So public service announcement, if you feel like, gosh, I just can't catch up, this doesn't seem normal, definitely go talk to your primary care physician. A lot of women get thrust into thyroid issues postpartum, and that's my story as well. So for me, the self-care now that my kids are older, I'm actually finally able to get up before them, and getting up at 6 o'clock. I do listen to affirmations in the morning. I have a cup of tea. I move very slowly. Then I might go exercise, even if that's a 15-minute walk. Like set your standards really low if you're just starting out. I think when I was younger, I used to be really intense, and I would be like, if I'm not exercising for 45 minutes high intensity, it's just not worth going out for. And I've definitely shown myself much more compassion and grace since that. And I can see the benefits of just a 15-minute walk, especially being outside in nature in the morning, also can really help your circadian rhythm establish and can help you sleep at night. Exercise is one of the best things to help increase your sleep drive later in the day. I'm sure you've noticed that, right? The days that you exercise, you can fall asleep more quickly and stay asleep better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so that's where I'm kind of at with self-care and my little routine. So it's funny to think about your sleep routine, but my sleep routine too actually involves making sure that the kitchen is clean so that I can start the day with a fresh kitchen, and getting all my to-do lists for the next day written down so that I don't have any unkept anxieties, let's call them, when I do put my head to the pillow at night, making lists, and then getting up in advance, having that tea, having those positive affirmations in the morning, and some days the exercise can help as well. So those are my self-care right now.
And I love those. Ours are very similar. I totally agree that writing down things that are on your mind that you need to do kind of lets you put them down, like it keeps them from bouncing around in your head.
So true.
I love that. So if you could go back in time to when you first became a mom, what advice would you give yourself? What have you learned that you'd want to share with her?
Yeah, that how you think you're going to parent and who your children end up being might not be what you thought it was going to be. And that's okay. You might have to pivot, and that's okay. And that parenthood is like one of the most humbling experiences. And everything's happening to you for a reason. I really do believe that. I think I was stuck on like trying to be perfect. I was brought up to be very capable and kind of type A. And when you come into motherhood, you have this thing that you really just can't control. This little person, you really can't control them. All we can do is control how we respond to those things and working on that. And I would also ask for help a lot more. I kind of think of like my journey as having two stages because I became a mom to my son in Canada. And then when he was 3.5 and my daughter was 1.5, we moved to the United States and I couldn't work. So I became the stay-at-home mom with them. And it was really, really hard. Like being a stay-at-home mom is a skill. It's a whole bunch of skill sets. And working out of the home also is really, really challenging. They're just different in different ways. They're both challenging with different challenges. But one of the things I would have done later on is we didn't have any family here. We barely knew anyone. I wish I had hired some help to give me a few hours away from the kids to go grocery shopping even by myself, right? That's one thing I would do.
Oh, yes to all of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I just would like anybody struggling with their kiddos' sleep to know that help is accessible. And we often think that we shouldn't have to pay for parenting advice. And just remember that it's not really that instinctual. And it's okay to ask for help. And then if you're struggling with your own sleep, one of the most important things you can do is start thinking about it in a different way and prioritizing. Because I think it's for moms, it's easy for us to put ourselves last, especially sleep. It seems like a luxury. But I want you to reframe that in that it's a priority because it's that old saying, right? You fill up your bucket so you can pour over to the other ones, and sleep is one of those pillars.
Yes. I'm not the best about like taking naps. And I remember one of the pieces of advice I was given was when the baby sleeps, you sleep. Do you have any? Yeah. What are your thoughts on that or just naps in general?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Oh my God. I love nap. I could nap pretty much anywhere, anytime. Absolutely. I love naps. And the one thing I found really helpful at night is you finally get to sit on the couch and then you watch Netflix and maybe you just spend time surfing. And now I catch myself and I'm like, how is this adding value to my life right now? Or if it's like a mundane TV show, and can I walk away? And wouldn't it be better if I could spend that time sleeping rather than channel surfing? That would be more productive.
Right. Oh, well, this was lovely. Can you let us know where we can find you and your work online?
Yeah, I'm at helpingbabiessleep.com.
Perfect. Thanks so much for sharing your story and your wisdom and all of your insights today.
It was such a pleasure. I hope that somebody out there took something that made a difference in their life today.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me, Mama. I'm over here giving you a big virtual hug. I love spending this time with you. You are amazing for showing up and carving out this space to nourish your soul. If you are loving the SelfCare Mom podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. And if you're ready to start your mornings feeling calm and energized, get the Kickstart Your Calm Morning Guide, a self-care ritual for moms, as a free gift when you join the SelfCare Mom community. Head over to soulcaremom.com/Kickstart and enter your email address to get your free gift and start feeling like a calm mom today. Sending you so much love, Mama.